All right. I think I'm live. Y'all let me know if I'm sounding okay today. All right. I'm gonna set up my chat here on my laptop here real quick so I can see your stuff. Let's see. Let's go. Go ahead and just pause that because I want the chat. Can I? Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, let's just pop up the chat. All right. I'm gonna test out the chat here. Hey everyone, what's up? There we go. Okay, yeah, the chat's working. Wait a little bit longer. We'll go here. We got 2 people here in the chat. Nice. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Happy 4th of July, Independence. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. Give me a swig of a cold one. Nah, it's just cold. It's just cold ice water. Don't have any cold ones in the truck with me right now. Hey William, welcome to the chat. You're welcome. Did you end up choosing Crowder? Or what school did you end up going with? I'm assuming you either chose Crowder or what is that one? Truck Dynasty in Springfield? Forward. Oh, William. Yeah, yes, you're the one that I answered a question, or you had a question for. God, he's gonna kill me for not remembering his name. He's gonna kill me for not remembering his name, but just trucking around his Kyler. God, he's gonna kill me for not remembering his name. Yeah, just trucking around, but yeah. Well, I'm glad I was able to help you out there. Yeah, the one in Fort Worth, that one will get you your permit. It's basically just gonna add an extra week to your schooling versus versus 3 weeks at Crowder or Truck Dynasty. You're just gonna spend like an extra week and a half probably, because you got to spend those first couple of days getting your permit, and then once you get your permit, then they'll start doing all the other things in the truck, because you can't get into the truck until you got a permit. So oh, Midnight, good to hear that. Congratulations on passing the exam and all that. So you're in did you actually have a trainer at this point, or are you waiting on a trainer? To be honest, William, I was, because I'm from Texas too. I'm from San Antonio. I was considering them because because I was from Texas, and I would have only had to travel to Fort Worth. But my thing was that I was like, well, I don't know if I want to spend an extra week just to get the permit. So I sat on the decision for a little bit, and during that time I just went ahead and just studied on my own, and then went and passed the exam on my own to get the permit. And then I just decided to go to Crowder. I wanted to make it as easy as a transition as possible, so I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna go to Crowder. So that's what I ended up doing. Otherwise I would have went to Fort Worth and done the school there. And I'll tell you, studying on your own can be kind of tough if you're studying for this on your own, just because you got to keep yourself consistency when it comes to studying, so that the stuff doesn't leave your brain. So maybe going to school is going to be a really good thing. Hey, BV Lee, how's it going, man? Or I don't know, you may be a woman as well. So how's it going, person? Yes, William, I do work for CFI. I've been here now for 7 months. I can't believe it's already been 7 months. It's crazy. It just feels like it's gone by so fast. But I've been out here now with CFI for 7 months. As far as pay for a newbie goes, I've during this time I have done some research, because I have quite a bit of people that ask me that question, right? How much do you get paid? Is it worth it to be a truck driver, or to go into truck driving and whatnot? And a lot of the times I've had to say, well, I don't really know what other companies paid. So I actually did a little bit of research on this, and I mean, good to hear that, BB. Gotta make sure you don't know these days, and I want to be respectful to everybody's gender choices and whatnot. So I gotta ask, right? If I have a question about the name, I'm gonna excuse me for that. But yeah, so here at CFI, I know for sure that this is the pay scale for coming into it, right? You're gonna make 34 cents. I could be wrong about this, might have changed, but you're gonna make 34 cents a mile during the training phases. That's not split pay with the trainer. That's actually per mile pay. So you get 34 cents a mile, whether you are driving or whether the trainer's driving. And then once you're done with training, you'll automatically get bumped up to 42 cents, I think. And then you'll run your first, I think after your first 20 or 30,000 miles, you get up to 48 cents a mile. From there, I'm not exactly sure what the pay looks like after you reach that 48 cents a mile part. From there, I'm not sure exactly how long it'll take to make more, or if that's the cap at CFI. I honestly don't know that. But I would say, in comparison to other places, like I know that I think Prime, I think they're around the same amount. I think they're about 50, maybe a little bit more, maybe about 50 cents a mile. I think Swift is about 42 cents a mile. And I think what's another company that I had done some research on, because I just wanted to know. Variant is another one that will do rookie training, and they'll start you off, I think, at about 40 to 42 cents a mile, but they bump you up to about 55 cents once you've been with them long enough. But as far as starting pay goes for rookies, right? I would say it's about average. No matter where you go, if you've never had trucking experience before, you're probably only gonna average about 40 to 45 cents, or 40 to 48 cents a mile, whatever, depending on the company that you pick. If you find a company that'll pay you 52, 53, whatever to start off, I mean, give them a shot. I mean, that's up to you. It's up to what you're trying to get out of this from the get-go. I would say, I said this a lot, but if you're getting into this strictly for the money from the get-go, you have to kind of tame your expectations a little bit, because although there is money to be made in this industry, it's not going to come within the first 3 or 4 months. It's going to take some time, because you got to get used to everything. You got to get used to driving the truck. You got to get used to trip planning. You got to get used to the routes that you're going to be driving and stuff like that. Once you start getting more familiar with things like that, I'd say around, like for me, it took me about around the 4 to 5 month mark to kind of start getting into a groove, where now I can put down 3,000 a week easy. 3,000 miles a week easy. So I'm getting paid pretty. I think I'm getting paid pretty well, considering that I've only been out here for 7 months, because I'm able at this point, with all the experience that I've gained and everything that I've learned and being able to apply, that I'm able to put down about 3,000 miles a week. And that's still, I can put down that much and still have about 4 or 5 hours left over. So I'm not even using the full 70, although I might as well be, right? Because what's an extra 5 hours at the end of the week gonna get you? But you know what I mean. But yeah, I would think just tame your expectation a little bit. But to give you a gauge, about 40 to 48 cents a mile is about the average for a rookie truck driver. And then after you get your first year of experience down, that's when, once you got 1 year down marked on your resume, as long as it's safe and you haven't got into any accidents and stuff like that, then I think you're able to take your resume and then spread it out to other companies and see what they have to offer. Another thing that I've preached, and a lot of my other followers and stuff can vouch for this, is that I always say, bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself. Don't ever hold yourself down to one thing because of loyalty. Don't get me wrong, CFI has been a great company for me. I've enjoyed everything that they've given me up to this point. I still enjoy working for them. But if that moment comes where I put myself out there and somebody else is willing to offer me something that CFI just can't do, then that's something that I'll have to consider at some point, right? You put in all of this work and all of this time to hopefully continue to benefit yourself, right? So why would you tie yourself down to something that, why would you tie yourself down to one thing? You know what I mean? But yeah. William, as far as working with CFI goes, I honestly don't really have any bad things to say. It's kind of funny because I think about a week ago, HR called me about 2 times. First time was, to call me. The second time was by accident. But they called they called a lot of us drivers just to get their feel of the company, right? They wanted to know what we thought about CFI, what we thought we could improve for CFI, what we liked and what we didn't like. And I honestly had a lot more things to say about what I liked about them, and not very much to say about what I didn't like. Pros working for CFI is you're going to get your miles. As long as you drive safely, you get your loads where they need to go on time, you communicate very well, you don't knock off, you don't slack off, right? You're going to get your miles. The planners are going to get you your miles, and you're going to be able to drive. I haven't had a problem with that in the 7 months that I've been here. I've been able to get my miles, which means I'm getting paid. So there you go there. If you signed up with CFI for their school through a recruiter, you won't have to pay for school. Unless, the only caveat is as if you're going through the CFI school like I did, right? Whichever it is, whichever one of those schools, you have to sign a 1-year deal to drive with CFI, right? So if any time during that 1 year that you decide this is not working for you, or you're gonna go work somewhere else or whatever, right? If it doesn't work out within that year, you will owe them money for the tuition, the board, and for the trainer. And I think that'll come out to about, the total for all of that, I think comes out to about $5 to $7 grand. And I think it depends on how long you stay with them. Like, let's say I left this month, right? Well, then I would still have about 4 or 5 months left on my contract. I think they would just prorate and then send me a bill in the mail to pay for it, and to pay for whatever I owed on the school. But as long as you work with CFI for that whole year, you won't owe them anything for the school. If you won't owe anything for the school if you go over. So I'm gonna put it right here. What is it? I don't want to give you the wrong. I'm gonna give you the link right here. Bear with me for just a minute, okay? This is kind of me doing this on the fly. I want to make sure I give you the right link here. Okay, so go here. I'm gonna put it right here in the chat. William, this is just for you here, buddy. Go there to that link right there, and that's basically the. And then go to student where it says student drivers, and then you can either inquire about it there on the website, or you can call the number that's there on the website and ask to talk with a recruiter, and they will give you all the info you need to sign up with them. William, that's the easiest way I can say it. You can either go to the website and fill out the online app there, or you can call a recruiting office. They're not open today, but you can call them tomorrow, and they'll talk with you. I think my recruiter still works for the company. Ask for Hunter. He was really good with me. One of the main reasons I decided to go with CFI, because he was so cool, and he helped me out throughout the entire process. So I would get with Hunter. But yeah, you won't have to pay for anything for the school. The only thing that I believe is if you're gonna go to the Fort Worth one, you're gonna have to pay for your vehicle, right? Or like, you're gonna have to have your own transportation, like to get over there to the school. They won't provide transportation for you. You'll have to provide your own transportation. Yeah, as for Hunter, Hunter was my my recruiter, and he was very, very good with me. But yeah, that's the only thing that I think. They'll still pay for your groceries and your room and board, but you'll have to provide your own transportation. If you're going to go to Crowder or Springfield, they'll provide you with the rental car to get over there, and then they'll get you to the school, and then from there you have to, if you want to like do stuff off hours, you'll have to take like Ubers or walk. Take the Patamobile like I did. Oh man. I think I may have answered your question there, Trucker's Journey, and welcome to the chat, man. But yeah, as far as Crowder goes, if you're out of state, they'll pay for a rental car to get you to from point A to point B, right? To get you to Joplin, and then from Joplin they'll provide you an Uber from the airport to CFI in Joplin, and then from there they'll take you from Joplin to Crowder. Yes, or a bus ticket. That's correct. Yeah. If you don't feel like driving, they'll provide you a bus ticket for that. You can also get yourself an airplane if you want, and I think they'll, like, if you pay for your own flight, I think they'll cover like the cost of what would have been the equivalent to fuel or something like that. That's you can talk to the recruiter about that, but I just made it easy for them and let them give me a rental car, because I was like, what's the easiest thing that's not going to confuse the hell out of me? Just give me that. Yeah, William, I would talk to the recruiter tomorrow, and they can give you all the information you need as far as what can be the best course of action to get you where you need to go. They might be able to get you, if you live in Texas and you don't live near Fort Worth, they might be able to get you a bus ticket to Fort Worth. But I would ask the recruiter that tomorrow when you speak with them, and they're gonna ask you which school you want to go to. Yeah, I would do the same thing like William. I would call a recruiter, and I would talk with the recruiter just to ask them, what the question is, or what the answer to that question is, because I think I remember him saying something about that if I wanted to fly, I could. Obviously, it would be on my own dime, but they would reimburse what the equivalent of fuel cost or something like that would be. but that's what I would inquire about. Yeah, considering that you're 5 hours away from Fort Worth, they might put you on a bus. If you got a Greyhound station where you are, they may be able to put you on a bus, but I don't know if they would get you a rental car. But you ask them about it tomorrow. That's what I would do. I would just ask them about it, tell them what your situation is, and they might be able to help you out with something. They're gonna ask you what school you want to go to based on how soon you might want to start driving. So it all depends on availability, which right now because there's still a trucker shortage out there. They're still doing classes every week. So I'm sure if you called them tomorrow and you wanted to start going to school next Monday, I'm sure they could set that up at one of the 3 schools. I'm sure you could start. However, like I said though, if you don't have your permit, the only school you'll be able to go to at this time is Fort Worth. And if you get your permit, you'll be able to have your choice from the other 2. You won't be able to go to Fort Worth anymore because you already have your permit, so it'd be kind of pointless to do that. Okay, that's a big thing right there, because you do have to be 21 to drive with CFI, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, just talk to the recruiter, tell them all those things, and I'm sure Hunter can get you set up with something, or at the very least Hunter can at least give you the information you need to decide to move forward with what you're gonna want to do and whatnot. But yeah, so how are y'all guys doing on your 4th of July? How are you spending that? Yeah, it goes with every single one of their schools starts on a Monday, and their classes at the two Missouri schools are 3-week courses, and the Fort Worth one is more like a month to 5 weeks, because they're gonna work on getting you your permit in that one. But yeah, I just kind of worked out today that I ran out of hour, or I was pretty much running low on hours when I got to the Seagoville terminal here, which is basically Dallas here. And well, William, I'm glad you're hanging out with us today, man. We'll be your family today, bro. I'm glad you're hanging out with me today. I'll tell you that. But it just kind of worked out where I was able to take a 34 on the 4th of July. I didn't plan that. It just kind of happened that way. It just kind of worked out. So I'm here at our Seagoville terminal, which is basically in Dallas, is right outside of Dallas, Texas. There's a little town called Seagoville, and we have a terminal over here in Seagoville, and that's where I'm at right now, just chilling here in Seagoville doing my 34-hour reset. And I thought, well, I haven't talked to y'all guys in almost a month. I just figured I'll get online and see if anybody wants to chat it up. Kind of. So as soon as you're done training, you're gonna go back to Joplin. They're gonna put you in a hotel over the weekend, and then that Monday you're gonna go into orientation. Monday, this is all kind of obviously this is all as long as you pass your exam and you pass the course and all of that, you get in all that fun stuff, right? Then you go back to Joplin. You get to hang out there for the weekend in the hotel, and then you go to orientation Monday and Tuesday that following week. And then after Tuesday, one of two things happens. You're either going to get a call from a trainer that's going to tell you to load up and get ready to roll, or you're going to stay in the hotel until you get a trainer. And during that time, you're going to have to go to the Joplin Safety Department, and you're going to do safety training every day from like 1 to 5 or something like that, and they're gonna pay you like $55 a day while you're there in Joplin waiting for a trainer. And sometimes you might wait a couple of days, and sometimes you might wait a couple of weeks. Just depends on how they're doing, what the availability for trainers is, and it also depends on your flexibility. They're going to ask you, do you want to smoke? Would you prefer a smoking or a non-smoking trainer? Would you prefer one with a pet? Would you prefer a male or a female? They're going to ask you those questions. And if your goal is to just get on the road as fast as possible, I would say I don't care, just give me whoever. But if you are very picky about, I don't really like the smell of cigarette smoke, and I don't really like dogs or pets in general, then you might, because of that, you may wait a little bit longer, depending on what's available and whatnot. But that's pretty much how that goes. If you want, after orientation, right, after the second day of orientation, if you feel like you need to go home because you need to go home, then you want to let them know that right after the second day of orientation, that you need to go home for a few days for whatever reasons, and they'll try to see if they can set you up a way to go home. However, you're not going to get paid for any of that time that you go home. I was the same way, I'll be honest. I asked for a non-smoker because I just didn't want, I don't like the smell of cigarette smoke. And what's funny is that I absolutely hate the smell of cigarette smoke. And the funniest story about all that is, if you go back to almost towards the beginning of my channel, when I first got my new truck, it reeked of cigarette smoke. So I was kind of pissed about that, because I was like, oh, this thing smells. And it took, it's 7 months later. And I think finally, after numerous cleaning treatments and spraying Lysol and spraying scents and just generally kind of upgrading the smell around here, I think I finally got rid of the cigarette smell in this truck. It only took 7 months to do it, but that was kind of annoying. That was one of the things that annoyed me, is I was like, this thing reeks of cigarette smoke. And of course, throughout those first like 2 or 3 months, I would find random cigarette butts on the floor, or in between the beds, or in between cracks around the truck and whatnot. Inside of the truck, I would find cigarette butts. I was like, oh my god. I would hope, if you're a smoker, like, that's fine. It is what it is. But put your cigarettes out outside or something, or get an ashtray. Like, why are there cigarette butts all over the floor? All over the smallest places and whatnot, dude. I mean, God, people are just so messy sometimes. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, be excited, William. It's definitely a cool experience. I mean, honestly, I was telling my was actually telling my mom about this the last time I went home a couple of weeks ago. And there were, and everyone always asks me, for real, man, the disrespect of company property. But everyone always asks me when I go home, like, how's it been, or how do you like it, or do you still like it, or do you still? And I tell them, this is a job that I had, and that I've taken on, and it doesn't even feel like a job to me. Everything about this is so neat. Being able to drive across the nation, being able to see these beautiful sceneries all over the nation that I've only seen in books and in the movies and in pictures, and to be able to see these things up close and personal, it lets you know, one, that it's real, and then two, that there's some amazing things out there. And it's just super cool. It's super chill. You're in here by yourself. You don't have somebody over your shoulder every 10 minutes telling you to hurry up with the task, or to, you know what I mean. Like you don't have a micromanager right behind you micromanaging everything that you do, like you have at other jobs, and you don't have angry customers yelling in your ear all day long and stuff like that. It's just like nothing I've ever done before, and I couldn't honestly at this point see myself doing anything else right now. Even if it meant that I wasn't able to do OTR anymore and I went to a local, I'd still do truck driving. I just don't see myself going to do anything else right now other than just being a truck driver. It's very, very neat. It's very cool. There's some good things. I've said before, there's some good things and there's some bad things about being a truck driver. But all in all, what else do you get to drive the country and get paid to do it? What other job lets you do that? Not very many that I know of. And gives you a free place to stay. You don't even gotta pay for a hotel or nothing. This is your home. This is where you can be and whatnot. It's pretty neat. I believe that they do. Like most companies, the HR departments will contact they'll do that. I believe they will. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they'll call just to verify employment. I don't know if they'll call to ask what happened to you at these jobs or how you were. I don't know if they go that far, but I think they want to verify. What just your employment experience that you're putting on your application is valid, that you're not just lying, right? I think that's what they do. Whether or not you got fired or laid off or quit from a job, I think that's irrelevant. I think they're just calling to make sure that you were working during those dates and times that you listed on your application. If you have any concerns though, like something that you might feel like, this could keep me from getting a job, explain it to your recruiter, be honest, and at the very least you'll be honest and you won't have to be sitting there thinking like, oh crap, what if they find this out or something, right? Just be honest. They might tell you, that doesn't matter, it's okay. Oh, that shouldn't be a problem. Honestly, when it comes to this job, I don't even think they care about previous work experience. If you have it, they want you to list it. But if this is gonna be your first ever job, like you've never had a real job before, I don't think they really care about that much. But if you do have prior work experience, they want you to list it. I think I just answered that question for you, William. I don't think that they care if this is going to be your first job or not. I could be wrong, but I don't think so, because I never had any truck driving experience before this. Before I did this, I was in IT, and I did retail. And then I was my very first job in high school was I was working in a fast food restaurant at McDonald's. So those are that's all my experience, and it has nothing to do with truck driving. It just has to do with that I've worked before in my life. So I don't think that would be a hindrance on them potentially hiring you. I think they just want to know if you had previous work experience to please list it. Otherwise, if this is going to be your first ever job, I don't think that'll hinder them from putting you on as a student. I don't think that'll be a hindrance on that. And then, yeah, William, you can take passengers on. I actually brought my sister with me a few months ago for about 2 weeks. She came on in the truck with me, and I kind of just took her around for 2 weeks. And they don't really care who you bring with you, but you do have to go through a process to make that happen. You do which they're really easy going about the process. You just got to fill out a few forms, and then they take out like $20 out of your check to pay for the fee or whatever to have the person in the truck with you. But yeah, you can bring people in the truck. They do, however, need to be over 21 or older to bring them on the truck with you. They can't be kids. Of course, the exception may be if they're your kids. Maybe they might make an exception. But if it's like your cousin or your nephew or brother that's a little kid, then probably not. Yeah, man, I would just let the recruiter know what you've done, and that's better than, I mean, I don't know. Tell them what kind of job experience if you have. If that's been work and you've gotten paid for it, to me, I feel like that's work. That's a job. If you did something and got paid for it, that's a job. You did work. Anybody popping any? Oh, jeez. Anybody popping any fireworks tonight? I got me some. Fireworks. I'm gonna pop some tonight. I'm gonna go look for a safe place to do it. I don't want to do it illegally, you know. Gotta go find a safe zone. I've been to Florida twice. Yes, I've been to Florida twice. I've been, the first time I went, I think I just went to the northern part of Florida, and then the second time I went to Florida. I went all the way to Miami, and when I went to Miami, I was able to take a 10-hour break there in Miami, and I went to the beach because I had never been to Miami Beach before, and so I was able to find a parking lot and park the truck, and then went to Miami Beach. Spent about 2 hours there, and spent about an hour. Spent a couple hours on the island, and just, it was cool, man. It was neat. It's just the experience, the things you get to do out here. Sometimes you get lucky and you get to go to places like that and whatnot. But this company, CFI, if you're looking to travel to all the 48, you will. CFI has a footprint across all of the states here in the lower 48, and if you have your passport, you can even drive in Canada. Only places that I don't think we do is, I don't think we have anything in Alaska. Could be wrong though. Could be wrong. But at this point, I was thinking about it the other day because I think actually another person, one of the guys, he's actually here at the terminal. He just got his truck. I think he said this past week or this past weekend. He caught me in the terminal and was like, "Hey, Johnny Trucking," and I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And so I talked with him for a little bit. And he asked me, have you visited all the states yet at this point? And I had to stop and think, and I was like, well, let me think about it. Have I driven through all the states at this point? Well, and then I was thinking about it, and I've driven through every single one except for Maine. Of the lower 48, I've driven through every single one in Maine, except for Maine. I haven't been to Maine yet. But all the other ones, like, yeah, I've rode through them at least one time at this point. I haven't stopped in every single one, but I've rode through them. That's honestly a bucket list of mine too. I just want to go to Alaska, like, just to go to Alaska and see what Alaska. I've heard Alaska is a beautiful place, and whatnot. So I've always just wanted to go to visit Alaska and venture around there for maybe like a couple of days just to go check it out. I'll keep that on the bucket list. One of these days I'm gonna head out there. Also want to go to Hawaii, just to say that I went to Hawaii. You know. At this point, William, because like I said, because of the experience that I've been able to get, and how comfortable I've gotten with everything, with trip planning, with driving, and the familiarity that I've gotten on some of the highways, I can put down about 600 a day. I think the most that I've put down in a day was like 700, because our trucks are governed at 65 miles per hour. So what that means is these trucks can't go faster than 65 miles per hour. So even if the highway has a 75 mile per hour speed limit, you're only able to take the truck up to 65. It won't go any higher than that, unless you're going on a downgrade where, you know, the truck picks up speed on its own just based on gravity. But otherwise, you're not, you know, like you press the pedal to the metal, you're only able to go 65. So you're only able to cover that amount of ground based on the math, right? So 65 times 11, which is the max hours you can do. That's about the max you would be able to get of miles a day if you went 65 miles per hour the whole entire drive, which is probably not going to happen. You're going to get into different roads where you're going to have to go 55 or 60 sometimes. So I average out my drives at 60 miles an hour. So when I'm trip planning, I always trip plan at 60 miles per hour. So I'm usually able to get about 500 Midnight. Okay, let me speak on that for a minute, Midnight, because you just brought up a great point that I'm probably going to do a separate video about. But I don't know if any of y'all have heard, but the FMCSA, which is basically the it's the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. They basically regulate truck drivers, the rules, regulations, all that fun stuff. It's all kind of handled by the FMCSA. They're the ones that regulated and put into play the 70-hour work week for truck drivers a couple of decades ago, or whatever it was. I could be wrong about that. It might have only been like a decade, but I feel like it was like 2 decades ago that they implemented that. But they're thinking about possibly putting a 55 mile per hour speed limiter on all truck drivers. That means only being able to go 55 miles an hour everywhere in the United States. If that happens, I'm out. Because I actually drove through California a couple of days ago. I went from Houston, Texas, all the way to Arizona, and then from Arizona to California, from California back to Texas. So during that time in California, I went all the way to Ontario, California, which is basically about 100 or so miles from Los Angeles. So it's pretty deep into California. And only being able to go 55 miles an hour in this truck, I felt like I was gonna go to sleep. I was so bored. I was like, God, like this, like going 55 everywhere was so like, oh my God. I felt like I was never going to get out of California. Going 55, only being able to go 55 miles per hour. And so I couldn't see myself only being able to go 55 miles per hour everywhere in the nation. You wouldn't be able to cover a lot of ground, and if they're only going to pay you 50 cents a mile, you're not going to be able to make any money in this industry. Only going 55 miles an hour, unless they're going to pay us like $1 an hour. you know, 80 cents a mile, excuse me, 80 cents a mile, or like $1 a mile, then maybe it's worth it at that point. But if you're going to keep us all at about 50 cents a mile and want us to drive at 55 miles per hour, I just don't see how we're going to be able to make a living, an honest living out here doing that. But I hated it. I couldn't wait to get out of California. Once I got out of California and crossed into Arizona, I put the pedal to the metal and let it run at 65 real quick. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't handle that. It was so bad. And that's my argument, Journey. I'm just going to shorten your name to Journey. But that's my argument. My argument is that I understand making us all go 55 may cause less accidents caused by the truck drivers, but I don't think that limits the accidents caused by four-wheelers. And because I think they become more impatient than they already are. You see them out here all the time. Four-wheelers are very impatient whether you're going 65 or 50, because they're going like 80 or 90, right? And they're just zooming in between you, and they're just going crazy, you know, throughout the whole road, because they feel like they can, right? So I don't think that changes that. I think it just makes them want to become even more like ballsy and take even more risk. And then, although they end up becoming the ones causing the accidents, it's still still an accident, right? I mean, I don't know. I think if you are gonna implement any speed limiter, right? If you are, I think 65 is a good mark. And what this targets, what this potential speed limiter is targeting is the owner operators, all the independent truck drivers, because they don't have governors on their trucks, and they don't have governors on their trucks, so they can go 75 or 80 on the highways, and so that's going to put a hindrance on anybody that is a owner operator or is thinking about becoming one. But I think 65 is a good, because I mean our trucks are already regulated are governed at 65, and most other companies the mega carriers govern their trucks at about the same rate, 63, 64, 65, 67. I've seen some companies that do like 67, 68. So they're already governing their trucks already. Most companies are. It's the owner operators that they don't have governors on their trucks, so they're the ones that are going 75, 80 miles per hour, whatever it is. So I don't see why that would be a good idea. Oh yeah, it's gonna if they do that, like I already said, if they do that, right, and for some crazy reason it passes and it becomes law, I don't know if I'm gonna do OTR truck driving anymore. I'll probably try to find something more local, because why am I gonna go through all this trouble to only be able to go 55 miles an hour and not get anywhere? It's gonna take me like 3 or 4 days to get cross country. Right now it doesn't take that. I can go cross country in like 3 days, but it's gonna take me like 4 or 5 days to go cross country if I have to go 55 miles an hour. And yeah, you're just gonna have a lot of guys that are just gonna decide, I don't want to do this, and they're gonna walk out, and they're gonna go do something else or retire or whatever. We're already still suffering from a nationwide trucking shortage already, so now you're gonna add that to it? Nah, I don't like that. But yeah, getting my experience of that driving through California the other day, I'm like, oh God, like no, I couldn't wait to get out of California. I could not wait to get out of California. As far as have I ever came into contact with the DOT officer? No. And the reason for that is simple. And I don't want to I'm going to try to say this in the best way that I can without sounding conceited or almighty, I guess. I can't remember. I can't think of the word, but I don't do things to make the DOT officers want to pull me over. I follow the rules, you know, I follow the law. As long as I'm following the law and I'm making sure that my truck is kept up, that there's nothing malfunctioning on my truck that would make a DOT officer think about pulling me over, then I have nothing to worry about, and they shouldn't pull me over for any reason. I'm going the speed limit. I'm not cutting off drivers. I'm using my signals every single time I'm changing lanes. I have my lights on when I need to have my lights on. All my lights work. Everything is clean, secure, and functional. So I have no reason for a DOT officer to pull me over. I always like to give myself no reason for a DOT officer to pull me over. So I've never been pulled over by one. I pride myself on that. That's a gold star for me, because there's so many people that I know that have gotten pulled over, and I'm like, what'd you get pulled over for? Oh, I had a light out. Oh, well, I was going 65 in a 50 or 55. And I'm like, man, guys, like, what are you doing? Although, that's the thing. I realize that. I realize DOT can pull you over at any time. At any time they want, they can pull you over. The thing is that if you do everything the right way, you're really not going to get pulled over by DOT. Usually, if you do, it's because you gave them a reason to. Even the smallest inkling. Like, let's say you haven't washed your truck in like 2 months and it's super, super dirty. That's a reason to pull you over, because chances are, if you let your truck get dirty like that, there's probably other things that are wrong with it. If you switched over a lane, even just for a minute, and you didn't put on your blinker, that's a reason to pull you over, right? So I would, as long as you just keep track of your equipment, follow the laws, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get pulled over by a DOT officer. And if you do, you got nothing to worry about, because everything works, everything's fine. He's going to come up to your truck. He might do a quick little inspection, check your lights, and then send you on your way. It's when you don't do your pre-trips, or you let things kind of go, where you might get in trouble and you might get that fine or that citation, or even at worst, you get put out of service. Don't let yourself get put out of service because you missed something. Out here, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. It does happen sometimes, and I hear stories about it. But 9 times out of 10, you're getting pulled. You do get pulled over for a reason. 9 times out of 10. Sometimes they'll just do it because they just feel like it, because they're jerks sometimes. But hey, it is what it is. Hey, Matt, welcome to the chat, man. I haven't seen you here before. You must be a newbie. Welcome to the family, man. Oh, you're very welcome, Matt. I say this all the time, and I say this with 100% genuine feeling. I honestly don't know how to feel when you guys tell me thank you for your content, and you've been such a. I get things like you've been such an inspiration, or man, you give us such good information, and sometimes I don't know how to handle kind words and generosity, because I don't feel like I deserve it. I just try to do my job, and I just try to share my experience in hopes that it just, I'm spreading good word, But I appreciate it. I really, really do. I really do appreciate the kind words. And good luck on your training, man. As far as your DOT physical is concerned, let me give you a couple of quick pointers on that for you, Matt, just so that you know. The DOT physical is basically like going and getting a normal general physical. Like, let's say, have you ever had a sports physical before? It's basically the same exact thing, except that the DOT officer doesn't touch your, doesn't check for thing. It doesn't check for lumps down there. If your DOT doctor tells you to turn and cough, I would walk out of that office pretty quick. They're not supposed to do that checkup there. But with the exception of that, it's basically the same thing. They're gonna check to make sure that your I was just about to say they'll check to make sure that you're healthy enough to be a truck driver, right? And they're gonna check to make sure that you can see, you can hear, that that you're not under the influence of drugs. So I'm not judging anybody, but hey, if you smoke a little Mary Jane and you do some other recreationals, I would lay off of them for a few weeks before you go and take your physical, because they are going to do a drug screening right then and there. So just my advice, if you are, I would take a little bit of a break from it. As far as that goes, then yeah, I would definitely talk to your doctor to get a letter to let them know when you go to take your DOT physical that you have that. And so, me too, Matt. Me too. I don't need drugs to make me crazy. I'm naturally crazy already. I appreciate that, Journey. Thank you so much. Every follower and whatnot matters to me. I appreciate all of y'all, every single one of you. Even if you just watch one video and you clicked that subscribe button, you clicked on that like button, you're forever in my debt. I really do appreciate every single one of y'all. Y'all make this fun for me. I enjoy doing things like this, so I appreciate it. Even if it's just a handful of us in this chat, that's fine with me. I feel like I missed somebody's question. I'm just trying to go back to the chat to make sure I didn't miss anybody's question that anybody had or anything like that. Just Joking Around's a good guy. I wish I could remember his name. I think it's like Kyler. Riding with Dave, man, that guy is one of the main guys. One of the main reasons I wanted to get into doing this, and was one of the main reasons why I called CFI, because I saw who he was driving for at the time, and I was like, looks like he's having a lot of fun out here. And he was also a person that he had no driving experience before and just got into it. And I saw just how much he just blew up on YouTube and how popular he was. But for the most part, just seemed like a pretty down-to-earth dude. And even he has a bunch of videos of him struggling at first and stuff like that. So it was pretty neat to see. It just gave me kind of a real good experience on what this could be like, and so it's one of the main reasons I signed up. That's the second you're the second person to ask me that. The guy last night that I was talking to, he asked me that too. I guess it's because I guess it's because y'all think I give y'all really good information, and I provide it in a way that's very instructional. The reason for that is because I was a director of operations for 5 years at the last company that I was at, or one of the companies that I was at before I transitioned to truck driving. I was a director of operations, which is basically a management position, and I had been a retail store manager before, and so I do have a lot of leadership skills and a lot of training skills and things like that. So I could see where people would ask me, would I become a trainer? That's something that I would contemplate and I'm gonna have to think really, really hard on it. Not because I don't think that I can teach somebody how to drive a truck. I think I could teach somebody to drive a truck and back it up and do all these things properly. No problem, right? I think I could do that. I think I'm gonna no problem, right? I would be able to do that, no problem. The problem that I think I would have a lot of being uncomfortable with is having somebody else in the chair that I don't have full control over, right? And I think that I would be very scared that that in the event of a crisis situation, I wouldn't be able to get them to stop the truck in time, or be able to grab the wheel, or little things like that. I think would just be on the back of my head, thinking like, if this person takes us off the road, I can't do anything about it. I can sit next to the chair next to them and watch them drive all day, but if they decide to jerk the wheel, or if they decide to slam on the brakes, or if they decide to fishtail the whole damn thing and jackknife the truck, I can do very little to stop that from happening. And those kinds of things kind of scare me a little bit when it comes to possibly being a trainer. And yeah, so I don't know, something to think about. I'd love to spread my knowledge as much as I can. I think I told the guy yesterday too, I don't know if I'd be a trainer, but I think I have to think about being a trainer, but maybe I'll just continue to train y'all here on YouTube. I don't know, maybe I'll just continue to do that. Maybe I'll just share all my knowledge here on YouTube, and I can be your YouTube truck trainer that way. That way you don't have to sit in the truck with me and run me off the road, If you're going to Swift, let me just say this. I'm going to say this about Swift, and this is all I'm going to say. I don't judge anybody that wants to get into this industry, and I don't judge any company they want to go with. But based on the things that I have heard, Swift can get kind of lackadaisical on your training. And they have such a fast-paced program that you may not even get the proper training that you need to be a proper truck driver out here. Not to blow any smoke up CFI's ass or anything and say they're the best at training. They have their flaws and stuff when it comes to training too. But I would just take everything with a grain of salt, obviously. But whatever decision you decide to make, good luck to you. And I hope you do well. And if you do go to Swift, I would say go over there and don't be the example that Swift sets out there. Be different. Be something that I can look at. If you're deciding to go to CFI, Matt, I want to look at you in a couple of months. I want to see you out there on the road in that Swift truck and say, damn, Matt, you're way better than all these other Swift drivers out there. I want to be able to say that about you if you're going to Swift. I don't want to be able to say, there goes Matt, just another Swift driver that ran into a ditch, or that bumped into another truck, or that doesn't know how to back up his truck, or that doesn't know how to drive. I don't want to say that about you. If you do go to Swift, be a badass out there at Swift. Be different from all those other drivers over there. I believe that's a fact. That's good, Matt. You gotta have confidence when you get into this. Regardless of whether or not you've ever driven a semi-truck before or not, you gotta have confidence in yourself. You can't come out here and be timid. You can't come out here and be scared. You gotta be confident in yourself. You gotta come out here with the notion that it's gonna be tough, and there's going to be some scary moments, but you take them in stride. You put your big boy, your big girl pants on, and you get to it. and you just stay confident that you're going to get better and better as you continue to go along with this. That's why I did it, William, to be honest with you. That's why I started doing this channel, because I wanted to do the same thing that I felt like other people did for me. I learned that I wanted to be a truck driver, and the experiences about being a truck driver from other YouTubers. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll do the same, right? I'll share my experience in hopes that maybe it'll help somebody out in the future. I just didn't think that I was going to reach this many people this quickly. I thought I'd be stuck at like 50 subscribers for like a year. You know, me even having, you know, I think I'm at about 380 now. I never dreamed that I would have that many. I know it doesn't sound like a lot compared to like guys like Riding with Dave or Alex the Trucking Guy. You know, those guys have like 500,000 subscribers. Kudos to them for being able to achieve that. But for me, I feel like even just having 380 is like, wow, I never dreamed that I would have that many people. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, man. There's no problem with being a little confident, man. It's better than being timid out here. If you come out here with a very timid mindset and very afraid to drive this thing, you're setting yourself up for either failure, or you're setting yourself up for a very difficult time, because you got to be able to take. It's like, I like to compare truck driving to either riding a horse or riding a bull. You have to be the one in control, not the animal, right? The horse can't be in control of you while you're riding it. You have to be in control of the horse. You have to show the horse who is the person that's riding this thing, that's telling it where to go. If you're riding that bull, you gotta tell that bull, I'm gonna stay on you for 8 seconds, bro. You ain't knocking me off of this thing. Same thing with truck driving. You gotta get in this thing, and you gotta say, you know what, truck? You weigh 80,000 pounds. I only weigh $150. I don't care, man. I'm driving you. I'm telling you where to go. I'm telling you how to move. That's the kind of confidence you gotta have when you're driving this thing. I mean, yeah, I'm from Texas, man. Riding bulls and riding horses, man. Come on. Yeah, just Trucking's a good guy, man. I actually kind of ran into him the other day at a Tractor Supply DC in Arizona. I only waved to him. I didn't have enough time to get out of the truck and actually, you know, like say hi and all that fun stuff. But he's a good guy, very genuine. Same route, you know, went through. I think he went through Truck Dynasty. And same thing, you know, he's just built a community for himself and whatnot. He's really, really cool guy. Got a really, really sweet dog too. I appreciate that, William, man. I really, really look forward to seeing how your journey goes, William. I really hope you're able to do something that you feel very passionate about, even coming from a family of truckers. My grandfather was a trucker for most of his adult career. He retired a truck driver, and so it's been pretty cool to talk to my grandfather about what trucking is now versus what it was for him. And I'll never forget the moment I got to actually have my grandfather just come in and look at the truck and sit in the truck. It was pretty cool, considering where he came from as well. I don't know if he had his dog with him. If he did, I think it was in the back seat, because I didn't see it in the front. As far as the 34-hour reset thing goes, kinda. I've explained it before, and the easiest way I can explain it is like this. So when it comes to doing a 34-hour reset, you have a 70-hour work week that you can work. right? You can only drive 11 of hours a day of those 70 hours, right? So once you've burned through all those hours, you have one of two options that you can do. You can either take a 34, which will then reset your 70-hour clock, or depending on what day it is, if you're on the 7th day, so for instance, the easiest way I can explain this is you started driving on a Monday, then the 7th day would be next Monday, so that Tuesday, you would get what's called a recap of hours. You would start recapping. What that means is on that Tuesday, you would get a recap of hours that you drove when you started last Monday. Which if you drove, that you worked in total. So if you worked 13 hours that first Monday that you went on the clock, you would get 13 hours back on that Tuesday. That's if you don't take a 34. And you would get that at midnight on that 8th day. Sounds confusing, because it is. But this is why sometimes it's just easier to take a 34. Just take your 34 and you'll get you'll get a fresh set of hours. But depending on how you've run for the week, if you ran kind of light, like let's just say you drove every day for about 8 to 8.5 hours a day, you would probably be able to get yourself to the recap, and then you can just run off of recaps every day until you don't want to run on recaps anymore. You recap every day. Once you start hitting recap hours, you get a recap of what you did 8 days ago. Basically, that's how it works. But to make it easy on you, just take your 34-hour reset. Use it to sleep, play video games, watch TV, work out, go for a walk, adventure, get groceries, cook, whatever you want to do. Take your 34s. Don't run yourself thin. Don't do that. Heavy haul is where it's at, man, as far as the money goes. Heavy haulers get paid very, very well. Very, very well. Well, Journey, I'll tell you, one of the things is what I'm doing right here. I'm on my 34 right now, and I've been kind of just chilling with y'all for this last hour. So that's kind of cool, right? But what I like to do during my 34s is, one, I don't like to have a filthy truck. There are some truckers out there that don't give a crap about what their truck looks like on the inside or the outside. But what I like to do is during that time, I'll do a cleaning of the inside of my truck. I'll reorganize things to make sure that I got everything organized, that I got everything cleaned up. If I need to do any laundry, I'll do some laundry. If I need to clean my windshield and my windows and all that, tidy up a little bit, I'll do that. Another thing I like to do on my 34s is I'll play video games. I got my laptop with me here. I'll play some video games. I'll watch some movies. I'll definitely sleep. Make sure to get a good amount of sleep, and do a little working out. I like to work out a bit, so I'll try to get some workouts done, and then if depending on where I'm at, I'll go on an adventure somewhere. I'll see what's near me, and I'll go on an adventure. I'll go either for a walk, or if I need to take an Uber to get to it, I'll go and I'll take advantage of where I'm at sometimes and go and visit the town, or go somewhere and eat at a restaurant that I haven't been to before, or eat at my favorite restaurant that I haven't been to in a while, because it's kind of, sometimes those certain restaurants and certain places are hard to come by out here. If we're talking like McDonald's, Subway, Arby's, Carl's Jr., all of those, you're going to see those all the time. So don't eat those on your 34-hour reset. Eat something else. Change it up. Dude, I don't care. Like I told you earlier, I don't care if it's just a handful of people that are sitting in here. I don't care. If you want to interact with me, I'm just genuine. I'm just genuine. I don't care. I don't need 100 people in here talking with me at the same time. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna, change up what I was gonna do. Either way, I'm gonna sit here and talk with y'all. If y'all want to engage with me, I'll sit here and talk. That's what I do. I like to do it, so I don't really care if it's for. I think I've done these live chats where I think it was just 2 people, but we had a good time for that whole hour that I was on. If I'm having a good time, I'm more inclined to stay on. If I'm not having a good time, I'll probably peace out. But hey, yes, William, I have cooked plenty of times in the truck. In fact, not to, a little plugola here, but I have a couple of cooking videos on my channel. If you haven't checked those out, I would go and check them out. I've cooked a couple of pretty nice little things here in the truck. The gaming system that I have is actually my laptop. So it's a Asus Republica Gamers laptop, and it's got this one has just got a 1650 i NVIDIA video card on it, 16 gigs of RAM, DDR5. It's got a 9 gen i7, so it runs pretty good. It can run pretty much most computer games out there. CFI's idling policy is the truck, the Kenworths. They will not idle if the temperature outside is below 70. Below excuse me. Let me rephrase that for a minute. I'm wrong. It will not idle if the temperature outside, and if the temperature reads on the temperature gauge between 34 degrees and 69 degrees. Nice. But if your temperature gauge in the truck reads in between that range, the truck won't stay idle. It'll turn off. You'll have to use during those weird days like that where it's kind of like that. You'll have to use the bunk heater if it's like 37 degrees, 40 degrees outside, and you're comfortable sleeping without a heater, great. But if you feel like you need a heater, you can use the bunk heater, which works without the truck having to be running on idle, and it works pretty well. It keeps the truck pretty warm during those cold days. But if it's hot, over 70 degrees, you can idle it, no problem. And if it's freezing, like below freezing, you can idle it too, no problem. Yeah, Matt, that was my biggest thing, is that when I first got out here, because I like to cook my own food. Don't get me wrong, I like to indulge too. I like pizza, I like hamburgers, I like Chinese, I like Asian food. Oh, God, I gotta get away from saying just Chinese, Asian food. But I like those things too. But for the most part, I do like to cook my own meals, because it keeps me from having to eat nothing but junk all the time. And a quick story on that, real quickly. In 2019, around August of 2019, I put myself on a scale, and I weighed, for me, this was a lot. I weighed 199 pounds. Actually, I think I actually weighed 205. Yeah, at that point, I was at 205. For me, I'm a 5'8" guy, so 205 pounds did not look good on me. It looked pretty bad, and I was already feeling it. And at that point, I was 32 years old, and so I was already feeling kind of sluggish and kind of bad, and I just didn't like the way that I looked. I didn't like the way my clothes fit on me. So at that point, I dedicated myself to cooking my own meals, stop eating fast food so often, stop drinking sodas, stop eating, junk food all the time, stop junk snacking. Um, and I was able to pull myself all the way down to about 155 by the middle of 2020. By the middle of 2020, I was sitting at about 155 pounds. And at this point now, when trucking, it ebb and flows when it comes to weight. I've gotten as high as 170, and I've gotten as low as 160, and now I've kind of found that happy medium of 162, 163 pounds. That just comes down to cooking for yourself more often out here is going to help you from overeating, from over snacking, and from just saying, there's a Wendy's here, I'm going to buy me 3 hamburgers and a 10-piece nugget, or you know what I mean, just stuff like that. Every now and then it's okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. It's okay sometimes to be like, it was a rough day, I'm gonna give me a fucking 10-piece chicken nuggets and some fries. Yep. That's gonna happen. Let me see, let me go through. I'm getting some questions here. All right, man, y'all are keeping me busy tonight. I love it. William, real quick, William, as far as the automatic transmission does going up and down in these Kenworths, I can't say how it is in internationals or Freightliners, or Volvos, but in the Kenworth, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, it depends on the weight that you're carrying. If you're fully loaded, it does feel like a struggle to go up the mountain, and you will. And the nice thing about the automatic trucks is that it does still have the equivalent to a paddle shifter in newer cars and trucks. You have the paddle shifters where you can do the automatic manual kind of shifting. Same thing in this truck. You can click on the paddle shifter, as I like to call it, and it'll move the gear down so that you can go up the hill at a decent speed, so that you don't lose so much speed. You kind of get used to it after a while, where you feel like you need to downshift as you're going up the mountains. But it doesn't do too bad. It handles pretty well. I think that I visited most of them, if not all of them at this point. Could be wrong. Now, are we talking terminals, or we're talking terminals and drop yards? Because there's a combination of both. If we're talking just like straight up terminals, obviously I've already visited the Joplin one. I'm here in Seagoville, so I've visited that one a few times. I visited the one in Laredo. I've been to the one in Atlanta. I've been to the one in Ohio, which that one unfortunately is closing, so that one's about to be gone. The Charlotte yard I've been to, but that one's also going to be gone here pretty soon as well. So those are 2 that are going to be gone. Kansas City, I've been to the one in Kansas City. I've been to the one in West Memphis plenty of times. I'm trying to think where else we have terminals at. As far as terminals go, I think those are the only terminals that we have. Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, I've been to that one as well. I think that's it. I think that's all of our terminals. We have a couple of drop that are just straight up drop yards, where the only thing you can do is drop and pick up trailers. There's no driver facilities there. I've been to a couple of those too, but I think I've been to pretty much all the terminals at this point. I could be wrong. I may be missing 1 or 2, but I think I've been to all the terminals at this point. And my favorite one, it's got to be Joplin. I mean, Joplin's obviously the biggest one, and it's got the gym in there, which God, I wish I could spend more time in that gym. That gym is immaculate, and it's got it's three pieces. It's got basketball court, it's got it's got your weights, and it's got cardio, all in that underground gym there at the terminal in Joplin. God, I wish I could spend more time there. It's so beautiful there. Every time I'm in Joplin, I have to go hit the gym for however long that I'm there. That's one of my favorite things about Joplin is the gym. But yeah, that one has the best shop, the best gym area. Doesn't have the best food, but none of them really do. All of them mostly just have like vending stuff. But that's a great question. I think the quick answer is no. I don't think there is a terminal in Florida. We might have a drop yard, but I don't think we have a full-on terminal in Florida. I think the nearest one in Florida is probably Atlanta. If I'm not mistaken, like I said, I think there's a drop yard, but I don't think that there's an actual full-on terminal in Florida. Could be wrong though. I've thought about an air fryer. I have a skillet, and I love my little electronic skillet. It works really, really well. I only paid $20 for it at Walmart, but it works really well. I can cook just about anything I want in it. But I've seen a lot of people, other YouTubers, other truckers that are using air fryers to cook, and some of the stuff that they cook comes out looking pretty damn good. So I'm kind of contemplating one. The biggest issue with buying equipment is that you start running out of space to put things. I don't want to I already got a microwave, I got a Keurig, I got an electronic skillet, I got a rice cooker, I got all this other stuff, not to mention just I got a refrigerator in here, so I got a lot of equipment in here that I've already kind of jammed into this little small space here, but I might be able to find room for an air fryer. Ooh, Oz. Let's talk about that one. That's a great question. I like that one. But let me go back to Matt here real quick. For electronic cooler, I know most have a refrigerator. Water storage. Oh, okay. Quick answer to that, Matt, is yes. I believe if you're looking for something that's not quite a refrigerator, but something that can keep cool, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Coleman sells a air controlled ice chest for I think it's like 150 or like $200, and you can connect it to the to a DC port in the truck, and it'll keep your stuff pretty cool. It's basically air controlled ice chest. I think Coleman sells a pretty good one. They usually sell them at Walmart or Academies or most places like that, where you can find one like that. And some of the truck stops over here also sell them, but they're a little bit more upsale, on the pricing of them. But I think Coleman sells a pretty good one that you might want to look into, that I think could work pretty well. Oh yeah, man. I'm saying not just an ice chest. I'm talking about an air controlled one that actually has a refrigeration unit in it, but it looks like an ice chest, but it has an air control thing that you can plug into the DC, and it keeps it cold. I think one of the truckers on YouTube has one like that. I think Alex, the trucking guy, I think he uses one like that for his refrigeration of food and stuff like that. Hey Raymond, how's it going, man? Good luck to you out there, man. How you liking it so far? Uh, the small toilet thing, that's what I want to talk about. So if you go on Amazon, right, and you look up portable toilet, there's a couple of different ones you can look at. The most common one that I see is the one that it looks like a fold-out chair, and it's basically got like a hole, right, where you put a bag in that hole, and you just sit down and do your business, and then wrap it up and go dispose of it like a doggy bag. And I think Amazon sells those for like 20 bucks or something like that. It literally is like a fold out chair that's got a toilet seat, and you just attach a bag to it and do your thing. Otherwise, if we're talking about, you know, urination, I've seen a lot of people use water bottles are a common thing. People would just pee in water bottles. And here's the thing. Here's my thing on this, right? I understand when you gotta go, you gotta go. And there's not always gonna be an option to pull over at a rest area or a truck stop to be able to go and use a bathroom. I understand that completely. So if you want to piss in a bottle, more power to you. I have not had to do that, and I've been out here for 7 months. Maybe I just have a bladder of steel, I don't know. But I have not had to do that. But I understand duty calls, and you got to do your business, right? My only thing that I would ask, please take your bottle of pee and throw it in a garbage can. Don't take your bottle of pee and throw it outside of your truck on the grass, on the outside of the road. Like, go and take it to a garbage can. Please, for the love of God. I've never asked anybody for anything, but please, if you're gonna pee in a bottle, throw it in a garbage can. I can't tell you how many times I've been to certain areas where I've walked out of the truck and there's like a sea of yellow bottles. It is disgusting. To me, I feel like it's disgusting. It's gross. And you can't give me no bullshit excuse that, well, there's no trash cans anywhere. There's trash cans everywhere, dude. This whole world is full of trash cans. Can't tell me you can't find one to throw your pee bottle in. Give me a break, man. That's just gross and disgusting. Same thing goes with your poo bags. If you take a poo, please do not throw your poo bag out on the street. I would hope you would have enough sense to throw your poo bag in the garbage. Oh, man. Yeah, man. Some of the things you see out here are just disgusting. Gross. I don't own a portable toilet. I thought about it, but for the most part, I'm usually able to, if I feel like I need to stop, I'm usually able to find a place to stop and go use the bathroom. There's so many truck stops out here nowadays, and so many rest areas still out there with facilities where you rarely should have to pee in bottles or go to the bathroom in your truck. But hey, I guess you should have an emergency thing available in case. Maybe I should invest in one. You would think, man, you would think you wouldn't have to tell people that, right? You would think you wouldn't have to tell people, throw your throw your shit bags in the garbage. You wouldn't think you'd have to tell people that, right? But you do, because people will throw it on the side of the road if they feel like it. The one thing, like I said, it's just from personal thing, right? One of the things that is kind of a pet peeve for me are smells, bad smells. I don't like bad smells. Bad smells irritate the hell out of me and give me headaches. Whether or not that makes me a prima donna, I don't care. But smells are just a thing that bothers me. So when it comes to myself, I try to keep my hygiene up as much as I can out here. If I feel like I got time to take a shower, I'm gonna take a shower. I carry plenty of deodorant with me, and I will put that shit on heavy if I feel like I need to. And I got body sprays, I got air freshener sprays. I don't like bad smells. They irritate me and make me angry. So there's sometimes where you will get out of a truck, depending on where you're at, and the first smell that you smell is piss. Oh my God. I'm like, and what's funny about it sometimes is that you'll get out at some places that smell like pee, and there's a bathroom like 50 feet away. There's the truck stop right there. It's 24 hours. You mean to tell me you can't walk to the pisser? Like, you rather just pop out of your truck, whip your wang out, and just let it rip right there, right next to the truck, when you can just literally walk 50 feet. Blows my damn mind sometimes. I'm like, okay. Like, I should never get off at a truck stop and have it smell like pee, in my opinion. If I'm at a truck stop, it should never smell like pee to me, because there's a bathroom right there. It's not that far. If I'm in an area where there's not a bathroom and within like walking distance, then I guess I can understand why it might smell like pee. But if I'm at a truck stop and it smells like pee, oh God, that's irritating as hell. Because you know that if you're smelling it, that's what everybody is doing. Like, everybody is doing it. Not just one person, like everybody is doing it. I'm like, what the hell? And then I go in and use the bathroom, and I'm like, bathroom's like nice, it's kind of clean. Like, what the hell? Well, what is your reasoning? Just lazy ass. Lazy ass. That's what it is. They do. That is correct, Matt. When you work with CFI, the most common place you're gonna fill up is Love's. And you're automatically, within your first week of having your own truck, or even with being with your trainer, they're gonna set you up with the Love's Rewards card. And within that first week, or first or second week, you're gonna automatically become a diamond member with Love's, which gives you automatic free showers and free drink refills. So otherwise, if you weren't working with CFI, but you were still filling up and you had a Love's Rewards card, you get a free shower every fill up. So every time you filled up at Love's and you used your rewards card, you get a free shower. So not a bad deal at all. And here's the nice part about CFI. I'm sure other companies do this too, but with CFI, even if it's not at Love's, right? Let's say you stop at a Petro, or you stop at a Pilot or a Flying J. Any truck stop that has a shower that's not a Love's, right? And you got to take a shower. You want to take a shower. It's going to cost you like $15 to take a shower. Save your receipts. As a company driver, save your receipts, because CFI will reimburse you for your showers if you have to pay for them out of pocket. Oh, Matt, did you want me to run by, like not pissing on the street? I'm kidding. I know what you're talking about. Now, as far as showers go, Matt, to answer your question again, Matt, I hope you're paying attention. I'm only going to say this one more time. Kidding. But as far as showers go, at Love's, you do get free showers at Love's working for CFI because you become an automatic Diamond Rewards member working with CFI. So you're always going to be able to take a free shower at Love's. Even if you're not working with CFI, if you work for another company that does their fill-ups at Love's, sign up for the rewards program, and every time you fill up at Love's, you get a shower credit, which you can use for a shower. Otherwise, you're gonna have to pay $15 a shower. If you're working with CFI, I'm not sure how it is for other companies, but if you're working for CFI and you want to take a shower at a different truck stop, no matter what truck stop it is, they have a shower. Save your receipt, and CFI is going to reimburse you for what you paid for that shower, as long as you save the receipt and do the proper paperwork at the end of your load. As far as I have experienced, there's never been a time limit on any of the showers that I've taken anywhere. I do know that with your PIN code that you use to get into the shower is only active for like 15 minutes. So you only are able to use that PIN code within that 15-minute time frame. But once you close that door and you start your shower, if you want to take a 2-hour shower, take a 2-hour shower. It's once you open that door again, it triggers the employees that the shower's over, and to go and clean it. Now, same thing with TA and Pilot. It's the same concept. They don't have a time limiter on there. The only time limit is for how long your PIN code to get into the shower is active for. But like I said, once you close that door, then you can be in that shower for as long as you need. Once you open that door again, now your shower's over, and it triggers the employees to go in and clean the shower. So for instance, the best thing I can tell you is, like, let's say you get into that shower or you get into the room and you immediately forget, oh crap, I forgot my underwear in the truck. I forgot a clean pair of underwear in the truck. God. Well, as long as you're within that 15-minute time frame of your PIN code being active, you can run out, go back to your truck, and come back in. But once you close that door and you've been in there for longer than 20 minutes, once you open that door again, your shower's over. And if you want to get back in, you're going to have to pay for another one. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Like I said, as far as showers at other places with CFI, if you take a shower at a different place and you pay out of pocket for it, save your receipts, and CFI will reimburse you your cost of your shower, so long as you do the paperwork correctly to get the reimbursement at the end of your load, when you deliver the load that you were on, where you took the shower at. So you will have to pay out of pocket up front for it at a different location, but you'll get that money back fairly quickly. But if you don't want to deal with the hassles of having to save receipts and all that fun stuff, then take your showers at Lowe's. But you're not always going to be able to stop at a Lowe's. Sometimes you will have to stop at a TA or Pilot. And then, of course, all the main CFI terminals have showers. This one here in Seagoville, Joplin, West Memphis, Arkansas, Laredo, Atlanta, Mechanicsburg, Kansas City, all have shower facilities that are obviously free use for drivers. Some of them are nicer than others, but it is what it is, right? The nice thing about about Love's, TA, Pilot, Petro, is that after every single shower, an employee goes in there and does a deep cleaning. So they'll go in there and clean the shower up and give you a fresh set of towels every time you go in, so you know that you're going into a clean shower situation. Oz, I actually use reserve parking quite a bit, and the reasoning that I do is because, and the only times I use reserve parking is if I feel like I'm gonna be driving for a long day, where my day is gonna end after 7 p.m. Your green zone for parking, generally speaking, is between the hours of 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Those are your green zones. That means that most truck stops that you go to between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are going to be virtually empty, and you're going to have a lot of parking available to you no matter where you go. For most general truck stops. After 7, things start filling up, and it becomes more difficult to find parking spaces at certain truck stops. But if you reserve your spot, it's reserved no matter if somebody takes it or not. I've had an experience with this one time at a Pilot where I did reserve my parking spot. I was smart about it, and I got there and all the reserved parking spots were full. And I thought, well, that can't be the case because Pilot doesn't oversell parking spots. That means that somebody that's not supposed to be in the spot is in the spot. So there was nowhere else to park. I paid for it. I went inside and I told them there's no reserved parking spots, and I reserved it. They verified it. They said, okay, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna see which driver's out there that's not supposed to be out there. Sure enough, they knocked on his door and they made him move, and I took the spot. It is what it is, guys. Don't hate the player, hate the game. It is what it is, right? But yeah, especially if I feel like I'm gonna be driving and I'm not gonna stop until late at night, then I'll reserve a parking spot ahead of time, so that way I know that I have a guaranteed spot to park in, and I don't have to be worrying about parking. I can just drive and be comfortable. As far as veterans discounts are concerned, I don't know that for sure. I would assume that some of them do offer some different discounts for certain things, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Reserve parking is another one where if you save your receipts, you will get reimbursed. CFI will reimburse you your cost of parking. So then all in all, I mean, you don't really spend that much money out here. I mean, everything's pretty much covered for you for the most part. The only thing you're really spending money on out here is for your food and your general, cost of living stuff, hygiene things and clothing and all of that, and entertainment. That's it. You don't spend any money for maintenance on the trucks. You don't spend any money for, things like parking and showers. And I mean, you don't spend any money on fuel. You don't spend any money on lodging because you're here. Oh, okay, yeah. Most of the CFI terminals have laundry facilities, but not all of them do. I know for sure the one here in Seagoville, Texas does. The one in Laredo does. The one, Joplin obviously does. West Memphis does. Atlanta does. Kansas City does. I don't think that Mechanicsburg has laundry facilities in the Mechanicsburg one. They have showers, but I don't think they have laundry machines there. Some of the smaller terminals, like this one here in Seagoville, only have like 2 machines. Some of the bigger ones have a couple more. In Joplin, they have tons of washers and dryers there, but Some of the smaller terminals only have like 1 or 2 machines, which is better than nothing, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything. At the truck stops, they have laundry. Some of them have laundry, and it's kind of ridiculous how much they cost. It's convenience, that's what it is. But most of the times, that if Love's or TA or Pilot have laundry, it's $2 to wash a load of laundry. $2 just to wash. Then you got to pay another dollar or whatever, $1.50 to dry. Thanks for coming out, Journey. I appreciate the love, appreciate the follow, appreciate the time. Have a safe rest of your 4th, man, and we'll see you out there. Hopefully, whatever decision you decide to make, hopefully we'll see you out here. Good luck to you, man. Wow, I didn't even realize I've been on for almost an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Yeah, it's almost already 8 o'clock, but I've had a really good time here tonight, guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead on that note. I think I'm gonna go ahead and peace out too, because I'm gonna eat a little something, and then I'm gonna try to see if I can go find a safe area to go and enjoy some fireworks. So I think I'm gonna go do that. But I appreciate all of y'all for joining me here tonight. I'll definitely be doing another one of these again, probably in a week or so. Maybe I'll decide to jump on here and do it. Of course, if I do, I always try to plan them ahead of time and put them on the channel, so that way you know. If you want to be a part of these live chats, just remember to remember to click on the bell icon on my channel, and you'll get the notifications for when I decide to do things like this, and when I decide to drop new videos and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, I appreciate all the love, man. Got nothing but love for y'all. And for those of y'all that are about to get into this industry, good luck to all of y'all in your training, in your studying. And once you get out here, man, if you catch me out here, if you happen to catch me out here, wave me down. I'll be more than happy to talk with y'all, take you inside of a truck stop, treat you to a snack or a soda or something. But yeah, guys, I'll see y'all down the road, and y'all have a good night. Okay, peace out.